The clock strikes 11:58 p.m. My hands are shaking. The small velvet box feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds in my pocket. My daughter gives me a thumbs up from across the room. This is it. After years of thinking love wasn't in the cards for me anymore, I'm about to ask the question that could change everything, asterisk. Hey everyone. If this is your first time joining our family journey, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our big moments. And if this proposal brings a tear to your eye like it did for us, smash that like button, it really helps our channel grow. The journey to this moment began 3 years ago, when my world was a very different place. My name is Daniel, and back then, I was just trying to figure out how to be both mom and dad to my 8-year-old daughter, Lily. The divorce had been finalized for almost 2 years, but I still felt like I was drowning most days. Between my job as a high school history teacher, Lily's school and activities, and maintaining our small house, there wasn't much time to think about dating or relationships. My ex-wife had moved across the country with her new husband, and while she called Lily regularly, the day-to-day parenting fell entirely on my shoulders. "Dad, you forgot to sign my permission slip again," Lily said one morning, her small face scrunched with disappointment as she rummaged through her backpack at the breakfast table. "I'm sorry, sweetie. Let me see it." I quickly scribbled my signature while simultaneously trying to pack her lunch and button my shirt. "There you go. All set. You forgot the check too. It's for the field trip." I sighed, reaching for my checkbook. This was the 3rd time this month I'd forgotten something important. "What would I do without you reminding me, huh?" "You'd be in big trouble," she said matter-of-factly, taking a bite of her cereal. That afternoon, I was grading papers in my classroom when my department head, Eleanor, knocked on my door. "Daniel, I wanted to let you know there's a new art teacher starting next week. I'm hoping you can show her around since your planning periods align." I nodded, barely looking up from the stack of essays. "Sure, no problem." "And Daniel?" Eleanor paused at the door. "Maybe try to look a little less like the Walking Dead when you meet her. You're scaring the freshmen." I managed a weak smile. "I'll see what I can do." The following Monday, I'd completely forgotten about the new teacher until Eleanor appeared at my door with someone beside her. "Daniel, this is Sophia Martinez, our new art teacher." "Sophia, this is Daniel Wright, one of our best history teachers and the coach of our debate team." I looked up and felt something I hadn't felt in years, a sudden, unexpected jolt of awareness. Sophia was about my height, with warm brown eyes and dark curly hair pulled back in a loose ponytail. She wore paint-splattered jeans and a simple blue blouse, and when she smiled and extended her hand, I noticed the colorful array of thin bracelets on her wrist. "Nice to meet you, Daniel," she said, her voice carrying a slight accent I couldn't place. I stood up too quickly, knocking over a stack of books. "Sorry, nice to meet you too." Eleanor gave me a knowing look before leaving us alone. I awkwardly offered to show Sophia around the school, painfully aware of my rumpled shirt and the coffee stain on my tie. As we walked the hallways, Sophia asked thoughtful questions about the school and the students. There was something refreshing about her enthusiasm. "So how long have you been teaching here?" she asked as we passed the cafeteria. "Almost 10 years now. Started right after college." "And you like it?" I considered the question. "I love teaching. The administrative stuff, not so much. But seeing a student finally understand something they've been struggling with, that never gets old." She nodded. "That's exactly why I switched from working in a gallery to teaching. I wanted to see that moment of discovery on their faces." By the time we reached the art room, I realized I'd been talking more in the last 30 minutes than I had in weeks. There was something about Sophia that made conversation easy. "Well, this is you," I said, gesturing to the art room. "If you need anything else, my classroom is just down the hall." "Thanks, Daniel. I appreciate the tour." She smiled again, and I felt that same strange flutter. Maybe I'll see you in the teacher's lounge sometime? Yeah, maybe, I said, knowing full well I usually ate lunch in my classroom while grading papers. That evening, as Lily and I sat at the dinner table eating takeout Chinese food, a Tuesday tradition, she fixed me with a serious look. Dad, Mia's mom says you should start dating again. I nearly choked on my low mane. Oh, she does she? And when were you discussing my love life with Mia's mom? At soccer practice. She said it's not good for you to be alone all the time. Lily twirled her fork in her noodles. And I think she's right. You're always either working or with me. I like being with you, I said defensively. I know. But don't you get lonely when I'm at Mom's in the summer? The question hit harder than I expected. Of course I got lonely. The house felt like a tomb during those 6 weeks when Lily was with her mother. But I'd gotten used to it, or at least I thought I had. Sometimes, I admitted. But dating is complicated, Lily. And besides, who would want to date a boring history teacher with a kid? You're not boring, she protested. You're just predictable. Ouch. It's not a bad thing. I just mean you always do the same stuff. Maybe you need to try something new. I looked at my daughter, suddenly struck by how grown-up she sounded. When had that happened? Like what? She shrugged. I don't know. Something fun. Something that isn't work or chores. The next day, I found myself walking into the teacher's lounge during lunch, something I rarely did. Sophia was there, sitting alone with a book and a salad. Before I could overthink it, I walked over. Mind if I join you? She looked up, surprised but smiling. Please do. We talked about books, then art, then history. She'd grown up in Spain but moved to the States for college and stayed. She laughed when I confessed I couldn't draw anything beyond stick figures. That's why you teach history and not art, she teased. True. Though sometimes I think I chose history because I'm better at understanding the past than the present. Something in her expression softened. The present can be complicated. Tell me about it, I said, then found myself telling her about Lily, about being a single dad, about the daily juggling act that was my life. She sounds wonderful, Sophia said when I showed her a picture of Lily. You must be very proud. She's the best thing in my life, I said simply. The bell rang, ending lunch too soon. As we gathered our things, Sophia hesitated. There's an exhibition at the Modern Art Museum this weekend. Student work from around the district, including some pieces from our school. I'm going to support my students, but, would you like to come? You could bring Lily if you want. I was so surprised by the invitation that I almost said no out of habit. But then I remembered Lily's words about trying something new. That sounds great. We'd love to. The art exhibition turned into coffee afterward, which turned into regular lunches at school, which eventually led to dinner one evening when Lily was at a sleepover. Sophia was easy to talk to, passionate about her work, and seemed genuinely interested in my rambling stories about historical figures. You make history sound like gossip, she laughed after I told her about the scandalous love letters between John and Abigail Adams. That's because it is. History is just people, messy, complicated, passionate people trying to figure things out, just like we are. Is that why you love it so much? I considered this. I think I love it because it reminds me that everyone struggles, everyone makes mistakes, but life goes on. Civilizations rise and fall, but humanity continues. There's something comforting in that perspective. She reached across the table and touched my hand. That's beautiful, Daniel. The touch of her fingers on mine sent electricity up my arm. It had been so long since I'd felt that kind of connection with someone that I almost pulled away. But I didn't. Bringing Sophia into our lives wasn't without challenges. Lily was cautiously curious at first, studying Sophia with the intense scrutiny only a preteen can muster. "Do you have any kids?" Lily asked bluntly the first time Sophia came over for dinner. "No, I don't," Sophia answered honestly. "Have you ever wanted kids?" "Lily," I warned, embarrassed by the interrogation. "It's okay," Sophia said. "I've always thought I might have children someday. I love teaching because I get to be around young people and see how they view the world." Lily seemed satisfied with this answer. "I'm making a volcano for the science fair. Dad's helping, but he's not very artistic. Maybe you could help too." And just like that, Sophia was invited into our world. Over the next few months, our relationship deepened. Sophia brought color and spontaneity into our lives. She convinced me to try salsa dancing, a disaster, but we laughed until our sides hurt. She helped Lily explore different art techniques for school projects. She introduced us to Spanish cuisine, filling our kitchen with the scents of saffron and olive oil. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. There were moments of tension, especially as Lily began to bond with Sophia. "She's not trying to replace your mom," I assured Lily one night after she'd become suddenly withdrawn following an afternoon of baking with Sophia. "I know that," Lily said, her voice small. "But what if she leaves too? Like Mom did?" My heart broke a little. "Your mom didn't leave you, Lily. She still loves you very much. But she left us. And now we're happy with Sophia. What if something happens and she goes away too?" I pulled her into a hug, wishing I could promise that would never happen, but knowing better than to make promises I couldn't keep. "All we can do is enjoy the time we have with people we care about," I said finally. "And Sophia cares about us a lot." "I care about her too," Lily admitted. "She makes you smile more." There were other complications too. My ex-wife was surprised when she learned I was dating someone, and not entirely supportive. "An art teacher? Really, Daniel? I thought you'd go for someone more substantial. Like a lawyer or doctor." "Sophia is substantial," I defended. "She's talented, kind, and Lily adores her. Just be careful. Lily's at an impressionable age. I don't want her getting attached to someone who might not stick around." The comment stung, especially coming from the person who had moved across the country. Despite these challenges, by the time we'd been dating for a year and a half, I knew Sophia was someone I wanted in my life permanently. She had become not just my partner but a true friend to Lily. Our little family felt complete in a way it hadn't before. The idea of proposing started as a small seed, planted when I overheard Lily and Sophia talking about constellations one night while stargazing in our backyard. "That one's Orion," Lily said, pointing upward. "Dad showed me. The 3 stars in a row are his belt." "Your dad is very smart," Sophia said. "Did he tell you the story behind Orion?" "Something about a hunter, I think." As Sophia launched into the Greek myth, embellishing it with dramatic gestures that made Lily giggle, I watched them from the kitchen window. The realization hit me with startling clarity: I wanted this forever. I wanted us to be a family. But proposing as a single parent isn't straightforward. Lily had to be part of the decision. Her life would change too. One Saturday morning while Sophia was at a teacher workshop, I took Lily out for breakfast at our favorite diner. "I want to talk to you about something important," I said after we'd ordered. Lily looked up from her phone. "Are you finally getting rid of that ugly couch?" I laughed. "No, though that's probably overdue too. It's about Sophia." Lily's expression grew serious. "Is everything okay?" "Everything's great. That's actually what I want to talk about. You know I love Sophia very much, right?" She nodded. "And I think she loves us too. So I've been thinking about asking her to marry me. To become a permanent part of our family. But before I do that, I wanted to know how you feel about it." Lily was quiet for so long that I started to worry. Then she looked up at me with eyes that suddenly seemed older than her 11 years. Does this mean she'd be my stepmom? Yes, it would. Would I have to call her Mom? No, absolutely not. You can call her Sophia, just like you do now. She nodded, processing this. Would we still have Chinese food on Tuesdays? I smiled. Of course. And would I still visit Mom in the summer? Nothing would change with your mom. You'd still see her exactly the same amount. She thought for another moment. I think it would be good. Sophia makes you happy. And she helps me with my art projects way better than you do. That's definitely true, I laughed. So you're going to ask her to marry you? I'm thinking about it. Would you want to help me plan how to do it? Her eyes lit up. Can I? I have so many ideas. And that's how Operation Proposal began. Lily threw herself into the planning with enthusiasm, researching ideas online and rejecting most of them as too boring or too cheesy. It has to be special, Dad, she insisted. Not just dinner at a restaurant. We eventually settled on New Year's Eve. Sophia loved the symbolism of new beginnings, and I liked the idea of starting the new year with a new chapter in our lives. Lily helped me pick out the ring, a vintage-inspired design with a sapphire instead of a diamond, because Sophia once mentioned she loved the color of the ocean. The plan was elaborate but meaningful. We would host a small New Year's Eve gathering at our house with close friends and family. Just before midnight, Lily would give Sophia a special gift, a handmade book filled with memories from our time together, with the last page asking, "Will you marry us?" As the date approached, my nerves grew. What if she wasn't ready? What if she didn't want the responsibility of being a stepmother? What if I was misreading everything? Dad, stop pacing. You're making me dizzy, Lily said the morning of New Year's Eve. She's going to say yes. How can you be so sure? Because she looks at you the way people look at puppies. All mushy and happy. I laughed, some of the tension easing. That's a good sign, I guess. The evening arrived, and our small house filled with friends. Sophia looked beautiful in a simple black dress, her curls loose around her shoulders. She moved through the party with ease, chatting with my colleagues, Lily's art teacher, and our neighbors. As midnight approached, my anxiety peaked. Lily gave me a subtle thumbs up from across the room, our signal that everything was ready. Can I have everyone's attention? I called out, my voice steadier than I felt. The room quieted. As we get ready to count down to the new year, Lily and I have a special gift for Sophia. Sophia looked surprised as Lily approached her with a wrapped package. What's this? Open it, Lily urged, practically bouncing with excitement. Sophia carefully unwrapped the gift, revealing the handmade book. Our story, the cover read in Lily's careful handwriting, decorated with painted stars and hearts. As Sophia turned the pages, her eyes grew misty. There were photos of our first art exhibition outing, ticket stubs from movies we'd seen, pressed flowers from hikes we'd taken, and Lily's drawings of the three of us. Each page held a memory from the past 2 years. When she reached the last page, she gasped softly. There was a photo of Lily and me, holding a sign that read, "Will you marry us?" I knelt down beside her chair, pulling the ring box from my pocket. The room had gone completely silent. Sophia, I began, my voice thick with emotion, you brought color and joy back into our lives when we needed it most. You've become not just the woman I love, but a friend and guide to Lily. We're already a family in all the ways that matter, but we want to make it official. Will you marry us? The room held its collective breath. Sophia's eyes filled with tears as she looked from me to Lily, who was now standing beside me, her small hand on my shoulder. Yes, Sophia whispered, then louder, yes. Of course I will. The room erupted in cheers as I slipped the ring onto her finger. Sophia pulled both Lily and me into a tight embrace, the three of us holding each other as our friends counted down to midnight around us. 10. 9. 8. I love you both so much, Sophia said, her voice breaking with emotion. 7. 6. 5. We love you too, I replied, feeling Lily nod enthusiastically against my chest. 4. 3. 2. 1. Happy New Year. As confetti fell and noisemakers sounded, Sophia and I shared our first kiss as an engaged couple, while Lily threw her arms around both of us. It was perfect, not because everything had gone according to plan, but because the three of us were together, stepping into the new year as a family. Later, after our guests had left and Lily had finally gone to bed, though I suspected she was too excited to sleep, Sophia and I sat on the porch swing, looking at the stars. Are you sure about this? I asked quietly. Being a stepmother is a big responsibility. Sophia took my hand, the sapphire on her ring catching the moonlight. I've never been more sure of anything. Loving Lily isn't a responsibility, it's a privilege. Just like loving you. Even though we come with history? With complications? She smiled. Daniel, you're a history teacher. You should know better than anyone that the most beautiful stories have complications. That's what makes them worth telling. I pulled her closer, overwhelmed by gratitude. I never thought I'd find this again, a partner, a best friend, someone who understands both me and Lily. Sometimes the best things come when we least expect them, she said, resting her head on my shoulder. Like an art teacher interrupting a history teacher's quiet life. Best interruption ever, I murmured, kissing the top of her head. The months that followed were a whirlwind of wedding planning, house hunting, we needed more space than my small two-bedroom, and blending our lives together. There were moments of stress and uncertainty, of course. Sophia's parents, who still lived in Spain, had concerns about their daughter marrying a divorced man with a child. My ex-wife had opinions about how Sophia should and shouldn't parent Lily. And Lily herself had occasional moments of insecurity, worried that a new marriage might somehow change her relationship with me. But through it all, the three of us kept talking, kept listening to each other, kept finding ways to make our unique family work. We created new traditions while honoring old ones. We learned to navigate disagreements with respect and patience. We discovered that family isn't about perfect harmony, it's about choosing to love each other through the discord. On our wedding day, exactly 1 year after the proposal, Lily stood beside us as our official, best person, proudly holding our rings and beaming as we said our vows. I promise to love not just you, but the beautiful family we're creating together, Sophia said, her eyes shining as she looked from me to Lily. Later, during the reception, I found a moment alone with my daughter, now 12 and growing up faster than I could believe. How are you feeling, kiddo? I asked, watching her fidget with the bracelets Sophia had given her that morning, a daughter of my heart, gift that had made both of them cry. Happy, she said simply. Then, after a pause, Dad? Do you think Mom is mad that I love Sophia? My heart squeezed. No, sweetheart. Your mom wants you to be happy and loved. Having Sophia in your life doesn't take anything away from your relationship with your mom. She nodded, seeming relieved. That's what I thought too. It's like, my heart just got bigger to make room for more people to love. I hugged her tight, amazed by her wisdom. That's exactly right. Sophia joined us then, radiant in her wedding dress. What are my two favorite people talking about? About how lucky we are, I said, extending my arm to include her in our embrace. And we were lucky, not because our path had been easy or straightforward, but because we'd found each other despite the detours and roadblocks. We'd created a family that wasn't defined by blood or traditional boundaries, but by choice and love and the daily decision to show up for each other. That New Year's Eve proposal wasn't just the beginning of a marriage, it was the moment our separate stories truly became one. A story with complications and challenges, yes, but also with more joy and love than I ever thought possible after my divorce. A story that continues to unfold, page by page, day by day, as we navigate life together. So if you're watching this and wondering if love is still possible after heartbreak, if family can be rebuilt in new and beautiful ways, if second chances really exist, the answer is yes. 1,000 times, yes. Thank you all for being part of our journey. If our story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to see where life takes our blended family next. We've got so many more chapters to share with you. Because the most beautiful thing about love stories? They don't end with happily ever after. They continue, growing deeper and richer with each passing day. And ours is just getting started.